After we found her empty coffin, no one spoke. No one moved. The wind carried a whisper, like laughter. Or maybe it was just in my head. But I knew what I heard. The elders told us to go home. We'll discuss this in the morning, they said. But how could we sleep, knowing Adama was not where we left her? That night, the village was silent. No one lit their fires. No one stepped outside. We were waiting for something to happen. And then, it did. A scream tore through the night. A sound so sharp, so full of terror. It froze the blood in my veins. It came from Sefu's hut. The same Sefu who once swore that if he couldn't have Adama, no one would. We ran, but by the time we reached him, it was too late. Sefu was sitting on the ground, his back against the wall, his eyes wide with terror. His mouth hung open like he had been screaming when his soul left his body. But his face was gone. Just smooth, empty skin. We could not move. We could not speak. I felt something cold wrap around my heart. She was here. Adama was here. The elders gathered us at sunrise. The village was breaking apart. People whispered of curses, of ghosts, of things we could not explain. Then, old Mama Kato, the oldest woman in the village, stood up. Her voice was shaky, but her eyes were sharp. I knew, she said. I knew from the beginning. We turned to her. Knew what? She looked at us, then whispered, Adama was never human. A cold wind passed through the village as if the spirits themselves were listening. Mama Kato continued. Many years ago, a woman came to this village, heavy with a child. She was not from here. No one knew her name. She was beautiful, like Adama, but there was something wrong about her. Some said her shadow moved when she stood still. Some swore they saw her speaking to things that were not there. The woman gave birth in the dead of the night. I was there, Mama Kato said. I heard her scream. But when the baby came, silence, not a single cry. The mother died that night, her body shriveling up as if something had drained her life from her. But the baby, Adama, was perfect. Too perfect. I told them, Mama Kato whispered. I told them she was not one of us. But they never listened. The village had raised Adama, believing she was just a girl. But beauty like hers was unnatural. It was a trap, a mask, and those who wanted her, those who desired her, paid the price. She was never meant to stay among us. The elders repeated just as they had said the other night they buried her. But now we knew the truth. Adama was never buried because Adama was never dead. We did not sleep that night. We sat in our huts, listening to the wind, waiting for her to return. And she did. One by one, we heard them scream. The men who loved her, the women who had envied her. One by one, their voices faded into the night, swallowed by something we could not see. By morning, the village was empty, except for me. And in the silence, I heard it. Soft, sweet, familiar, laughter,